All right, what's up, everybody? So, like I told you before, I finished the Skyward series. So, next couple of videos are going to be reviewing each of the individual books as well as the three novellas. So today we're going to be talking about Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. So, the I finished the book about a couple of weeks ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty good. Geared towards a younger audience, but I think that Spencer as a main character is a good main character. I think she has a lot of flaws, and you see her work through it as the series goes on. The premise of Skyward is that there's humans from a ship called the Defiant that crash landed on a planet called Detritus, and so the humans, um, way back in the day, sought to sought wars in the overall galaxy, and the galaxy united against the humans, and so the humans were essentially not wiped out, but they were separated into individual sections, and the people from the Defiant, which is the ship that crash landed on Detritus, they didn't want any part of the war. They were just trying to leave so that way they can lead peaceful lives, but the aliens didn't trust them, so they started attacking them. And so Spence's clan, which is Clan Motorscaps, their group were the people that were in the engine room, and they were the actual people that drove the ship. They powered the ship, I should say. So Spence's grandma was actually on that ship. She's the last survivor of anybody that was actually on the ship itself. And so Spencer grew up hearing stories about different, famous people from Earth, like Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great. And so she adopts this aggressive personality because of what happened to her dad. So in the prologue, you see that her dad ends up betraying the rest of the people and actually ends up killing a few of the pilots before he ends up getting shot down. And so people just say, yep, he became a traitor, and that's kind of where they leave it. And so throughout the book, Spencer's goal is to, one, become a famous pilot, and pass the pilot exam, pass the pilot exam and then pass the actual schooling for the pilot. And also, she's trying to clear her dad's name because she can't believe it. Her dad was never that type of person. So her whole purpose is to figure out what exactly happened that day. And then moving from there, you get a couple of different people. You have Jorgen, you have FM, you have Morningtide, you have Cobb, you have Ironsides. So Ironsides is the actual leader of the DDF, which is the group that's the military faction essentially of what the area has for a government. And Ironsides does not like Spencer because of everything that happened with Spencer's dad. Ironsides was Spencer's father's flight leader, and so she thinks that Spencer has the same defect, is what they call it, that her dad has. And so her whole purpose is to make sure that everybody stays safe, and she cannot trust Spencer to not do the same thing her dad did. And Jorgen ends up being that flight's flight leader. He ends up going through the flight school with Spencer and the rest of her flight. And so they are called Skyward Flight, which is where the name Skyward comes from. And Cobb is Spencer's mentor and the one that actually gets Spencer able to actually go into the pilot program. She is not allowed to sleep at the facilities or use anything of the facilities besides just the training environment that Cobb allows them to. So she is forced every night to go sleep in a cavern. And so in that cavern, she finds Mbot, which is an AI from hundreds of years ago that she ends up waking up, as well as Doomslug, who that's what she names the slug that she finds living with the AI. And so she restores the ship and ends up awakening the AI. And so they end up developing a friendship, and she ends up grabbing Rig, her best friend, and the one who took a pilot exam with her, to actually assist her in, developing or fixing different portions of the ship to actually try to make it, fly. And the events of the book take place the prologue takes place a decade before the actual events of the book, and then the book takes place over the course of about 4 months. And the book is it ends, I think, very well. I actually like how Spence's character arc goes, and how she goes from being this aggressive person to, actually realizing, hey, there's people that I can actually trust, and there's people that I appreciate. And she ends up figuring out that the defect that she has is actually an ability, which is the ability that they used to pilot the Defiant ship to Detritus in the first place. So Spencer learns that she can hyper jump, so she can jump from point A to point B. And the way that she can do it right now is basically just jumping to somewhere that she can visualize. The later books, you see how the powers develop, but for Skyward, that's what she learns how to do. And so, yeah, I think overall, I'd probably give the book 4.25 out of 5. I think it's really good. I think maybe it didn't hit as hard with me because of the different books that I've been reading recently. So I think that the pacing was good. I think that there was not a whole lot of times where I felt like, why is she doing this or anything. I think that everything that she was doing throughout the book had a purpose. And really, it's just introducing you to Spence's past and how her relationships with different people affect her and help her grow up, because she is really only 17 years old, and she doesn't necessarily she hasn't necessarily gotten over everything that happened with her dad. So it's really her journey in discovering herself and dealing with trauma. But yeah, I would recommend this book to anybody that likes young adult books. Anybody that likes Brandon Sanderson, I think, will like this novel and the series as well. And yeah, I'll make another video for the other books. Thanks.